of the Dragon Crew and Beautiful Rabbit Hole Lord Frey, John the Dragon, and the upcoming American Evil. I can't believe I've been like defaulting into doing that, even though I don't do that anymore. It's weird. I don't know. I've been working like near constantly, so it's kind of weird. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do tonight, so yeah, I guess we're just gonna hang out and play some Dragon Quest. Wow, I have so many games to get caught up on. I have Splatoon 3, I have Dragon Quest, I have all this stuff. Dragon Quest Monsters is the priority. I am 100% finishing it before the end of the month. Probably before Mario vs. DK comes out. I don't understand why in modern games, like, they always have to emphasize that, like, oh, it's the 25th anniversary of Dragon Quest Monsters. Like, this is the third game in the series. Come on. I don't understand, like, Monsters. Like, I thought there were sequels to Joker. Is that right? The second one? Like, I'm kind of confused about that. Because this is, like, supposed to be Dragon Quest 3, but... Monsters 3, excuse me. I don't know. I don't know my Dragon Quest all that well. I was legit thinking that, like, I would come home and watch Digimon. Like, I thought I might do, like, a live reaction to it. Like, I wouldn't show it on stream, but I would react to it. I thought that might be interesting, but, yeah. Yeah, so my issue with Dragon Quest Monsters lately is that I've just been wandering around trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. No. Like, where exactly am I supposed to go? I cannot figure this out. Okay, maybe I can get a bigger cake. Like, I don't understand how exactly you're supposed to navigate this dungeon. I don't understand how these dungeons are, like, the most convoluted thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's see here. Like, I keep struggling to figure out where I'm supposed to go. Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't thought about Pow World in forever. I haven't been talking about it. Haven't made any videos on it. Like, I just don't. I don't think I'm really interested in talking about it. Oops. I don't know. There's nothing more to say. Like, it's already kind of burned itself out, I would say. It's so easy to make fun of. Yeah, I mean, I would actually have to play it, though. I don't know. I was thinking of, like, playing it just so I have a more of a more context. I don't know. Like, I don't play a lot of those survival crafting games, so I think I might enjoy it. Like, I don't know. Like, my main problem with it right now is the plagiarism allegations. I don't know. Like, I would at least try it, but with the way things are now, but yeah, I don't think I will. I don't know. Plus, I don't like the idea of supporting an early access game anyway. And I don't know. I guess I could just sub to Xbox Game Pass and then get it through there, but I don't know. Yeah, I hate how I've gotten so lazy that I won't even plug in the streams for the gameplay footage anymore. I'm just gonna like play Dragon Quest Monsters and just do a normal LeeLive. That's right, I'm not monetizing my stream. I keep forgetting to do that. Let's see, manage live monetization on. I don't know why it's not automatic. I don't like that. Yeah, like, I'm sure there are better games like it. I was thinking I might try Ark. I don't know. Like, I have so many other games to play, though. Like, Mario vs. DK is coming out soon. Like, Splatoon 3. Like, I want to put, like, another 30 hours into Splatoon 3, so. Like, I've been putting a ton of time into it. I've been really enjoying it. Well, like, hmm. Uh, show gameplay. I don't have the setup set up. I've just been like going live just casually. Like this is how I've been doing LeeLives is that I just like set up my phone and just do it, so I don't have to set anything up. It's quick and easy. I don't have to do anything. And honestly, like when you're doing gameplay, like I don't know, like when I'm grinding in Dragon Quest Monsters, I don't necessarily want to stream that, like because it's boring. Like I don't know. Again, like I'm trying to figure out how to best like optimize my time. And in a lot of ways, I think streaming 8 hours a day is unoptimal. So like the way I'm doing it now, I can like just pause the stream and just whatever I want, pause the game whatever I want, and then do something else. But if something else comes up, but if I was actually playing a game, like seriously, I wouldn't want to drop it for anything. I don't know. I feel kind of conflicted. I don't know. Again, I'm trying to make the streams more interesting. Like, I'm having problems finding topics to talk about. Like, there are days when I come home and I'm just like ready to stream, and I just don't know what I'm going to talk about. You know, last night I was fired up about the whole Rocksteady thing, and I kind of realized that like I don't really care that much. Like, the most interesting thing about it to me was that Rocksteady was hyped up as like one of the best studios ever, like 10 years ago. But now, like 10 years later, nobody really says that anymore. Nobody believes that, and it just kind of fell by the wayside, you know. And it's like the same thing every time. I've come to realize that like all these studios that pop up, you know, whether it's Pocket Pair or BioWare or like Visceral, like whatever they use to weaponize against Nintendo, like 10 years from now, like everyone's gonna completely forget about it, and they're gonna move on to the next like flavor of the month thing, right? So like Batman is not relevant anymore. Like it's weird to say, but like there's not all that much outrage about Suicide Squad because like the Arkham trilogy isn't the hot new thing anymore. You know, nobody had any real enthusiasm for Rocksteady, like outside of making Batman games. They just weren't a very good studio, essentially. The state of play is today, really? I had no idea. I mean, not that I care, but yeah. Hopefully next week is the Nintendo Direct. I'm sure it's like gonna be soon. It's gonna be next week or the week after, I think. Like I do not see us going through February without a direct. Like there's too much going out. Like they have too much to talk about in regards to like Princess Peach and Unicorn Overlord and like Side Order. They need to show like a final Side Order trailer. I would like them to show more Mario vs. DK, but I don't know. It might not happen. Um, Sonic Super. Like I don't. I I'm done with Sonic. I've talked about this before, but I don't follow Sonic. I don't care about it. It's a dead IP to me, and I hope that like more people start feeling that way about it. There is no salvaging it. Like the creators don't care, the fans don't care. Like why do we keep pretending that this IP is going to somehow recover and be good? It just isn't. It's really frustrating because I think I think Sonic had a lot of potential. I'm sure I'm sure that like at one point there were good Sonic games, but like yeah, if there were, that was like 20 years ago. Like I have never experienced a good Sonic game in my a really good one in my entire gaming career. Right? Like nothing I've played has been good. And to me, like I think Sonic's popularity stems from like nostalgia for the '90s, and I just don't feel that. I think Sonic is a very very weak franchise. Like he is the king of like the animal mascot characters that from the '90s that no one remembers. You know, like they used to be a dime a dozen, but now, yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't know. Like I feel like Sonic more than any other video game character is one that does not deserve his reputation because he's always pushed as like, oh man, the competitor to Mario, but he never competed with Mario at any point. Like that was never a thing. Like not even during the Genesis days. Like it wasn't even close, and yet that was like the image they had for some reason. I guess they were just trying to do what they're doing now and just downplaying Mario, but uh, oh, Sonic's way better. Look at how fast he goes. Like, okay. Mania was made by a different studio who like actually cared. I not that I like Mania either, but um, I don't know. Like I just think Sonic uh, just doesn't do a very good job evolving and doing new things. Like I don't think it should have been that hard to do. Like I think if I had been given control of the Sonic IP, I could have come up with something really cool. You know, like the Saturday morning cartoon vibe. Like like Sonic Adventure 2 is like really, and 1 to a lesser extent, it's really shocking how good those games actually are. Especially in this day and age where like everybody tries to say they're not that great. Uh, like they really are innovative in quite a few ways with like the level designs and like the multiple playable characters and just like feeling like it has a real plot that actually matters with actual character development and continuity, right? Like Sonic Adventure, I think, is the template for like what all Sonic games should have been from that point forward, and they just couldn't do it. Like Heroes botched it, '06 botched it, Secret Rings botched it. Like how hard is it exactly to just do what Adventure did, right? Just have like fun, interesting environments and let Sonic run around at them. That's it. That's all anybody wants, and yet they can't do it. Yeah, I will legit say that like Sonic Adventure 2 is like the only Sonic the Hedgehog game I think is legitimately good. Like I like Sonic Adventure as well, but Adventure is bogged down by like the having like the hub world setting that doesn't work. Two like Adventure 2 really improved by getting rid of that, I think. Yeah, it's crazy that like Mario and Sonic are together in a game in the Olympics and like nobody cares. You know, like those games are so lazy that like nobody talks about them, nobody cares about them all. Like those are some of the only Wii U games I do not own is Mario versus Sonic. It was such like a bad idea. Well, I mean, I guess not because they're actually pretty popular, but um, yeah, it's crazy how Sega was never able to come up with like a good idea for a crossover game, and that's entirely on them. It's not Nintendo's thing. Yeah, today's the last day of the month, so yeah, I think the direct is going to be next week. Uh, I think my official prediction was like February 7th. Is that right? the Thursday of next week. I think that's what I have predicted. Ah. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing some new games. Like, like I feel like for a while it's just been kind of slow. Like, there's so much like stuff that like I would like to see that just isn't coming, and some of the stuff that's coming up isn't big on me. Like, I don't hate another Code R, but like I'm definitely not like over the moon about it like I hoped I would be. Like, I think it's just kind of okay. You know, I like the characters, I like the idea, like I like the visual style is gorgeous, but it's not like some great 10 out of 10 game. It's like more like a 7 out of 10. I said that when I finished it. So like another Code R has already been kind of a disappointment for me, personally. Not it wasn't bad, but like it wasn't great either. And I'm not expecting Mario versus DK is going to be great either. I just don't see it. Um, yeah, it's like after that, it's like Side Order, which we still know nothing about. It's a roguelite. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm sick to death of roguelites. I hate them. I like swore them off a while ago. So like it's weird that Nintendo is trying to like try their hand at the genre. Like after I've like gone to great lengths to explain like why I hate them so much. It's weird. I'm not sure if I should be looking forward to it or not. Like it looks interesting, but like I'm concerned I'm just gonna beat like the campaign or whatever, and then just gonna stop playing. I don't know. It's nice that they're doing something new, but at the same time, like roguelikes, really, that's disappointing. And of course, like Princess Peach Showtime doesn't look. It might not be great. Like I'm not completely sure I'll love it. And like the only game I'm looking forward to, like in the near future, is Unicorn Overlord in March 8th. Right? Like that doesn't come out for another month, so. And like February is the shortest month of the year, so it's gonna be like pretty quick. But I am, yeah, I'm very anxious to play that. But yeah, everything else, like, yeah, we don't have much. Like it feels like the past couple of months have been like the driest year for Switch. I haven't been super happy with a lot of games I've bought. Um, yeah, Dragon Quest Monsters chief among them, but here I am playing it. Luigi's Mansion 2. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean that's a remake though. I mean that's kind of my thing. I'm definitely gonna buy it to stream it, but like yeah, I don't know. I did not need a remake of Luigi's Mansion 2. Like I don't think the time was right for that. It feels too soon, but I suppose that like considering how like highly damage controlled the original release was, like a lot of people don't realize just how successful that game was. But like yeah, I think they could have gone a while without a re-release. I don't know. They re-released the original too on the 3DS, and that was kind of that didn't really make much sense to me at the time. Like, why didn't they just? I don't know. Yeah, I don't see anybody talking about the Luigi's Mansion 3DS port. I guess it's for kids who like Dark Moon, but I don't know. I uh I know they added some like minor features, like a two-player mode, which is kind of bizarre to me, where you play as Guigi before Guigi was like officially revealed in 3. Like that's kind of weird, but I don't know. I doubt 2 will have the same kind of improvements, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Uh, for streaming purposes, if nothing else. But yeah, I definitely want some new games. It feels like I haven't played anything great since Mario Wonder, and even before that, it was like What, like Tears of the Kingdom? Was that the last great game I played? I don't know. Last year felt not as good as 2022, I would say. I really need to replay Fire Emblem Engage. I keep thinking about it. It's been like a year since it came out, and I think it's time for a replay. You know, I think I'm gonna re-download it right now. Yeah, maybe not yet. I would have to close the game first. Yeah, playing through Fire Emblem Engage might be fun before Unicorn Overlord comes out. I don't know. What I really should be doing is watching my shows and like reading books. Like it feels like I haven't been doing a lot of either. I don't know. Maybe I should be playing less games. I don't know. Maybe I should start reading on screen on stream. I was legit thinking that I would stream like myself watching Digimon. Like I would just keep the headphones in and I would like react to like the episode or whatever. Like, oh man, that was so cool. Oh man. I thought that'd be fun, but yeah, right now my priority is beating this game before it gets swamped by everything else that comes out. Like I'm sure it'll be done by the end of February because I've been obsessed with it so much. But I don't know. Am I really gonna spend an entire hour just wandering around this palace trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go? That's unbelievable. Yeah, I think the Thousand Year Door they might screw up. We'll see if how they handle that. I don't know. They seem to be making like major changes to it, so hopefully it's as good as Mario RPG. I'll be very happy if they add some new bonus bosses at the end. That'll be really cool. Like I've been waiting 20 years to like do the Prince Bush fight. They better patch that back in. Ah. Hmm. Yeah, I think I should probably fuse some more monsters. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, I wonder if we'll get a new Kirby remake. Ha. It'll be another year before we get like a new full fledged Kirby game, but uh, okay. Yeah, synthesizing monsters is so frustrating because every time I do it, I always get this idea that like, oh wait, am I gonna do something wrong? Am I gonna screw this up? Let's see here. Yeah, that should be enough fusing. Like I really get, I don't know. I keep getting, oof. I keep getting nervous whenever I start fusing because I'm just certain I'm gonna screw something up. Let's see. Whew. Hello, hello. Yep, I'm just chilling today. Again, like I cannot decide what I want to talk about like every day. Like there's just not enough topics. Like I'm just kind of like, oh, I could do a Ricada stream, but like, does anyone care about that? Like I don't know. I'm just kind of I don't know. I feel kind of burned out. Like I was seriously considering just taking the day off, and I suppose that's what I'm doing. But uh, I don't know. Maybe I should just go to bed early today, and then just like stream some more tomorrow. Like get a real stream going. I don't know. Like it does kind of feel like nothing's really happening in the sphere right now. Like doesn't it? Like everybody's just kind of like stagnant. There's no like crazy drama. There's nothing. Like the Power World thing was like a blip on everyone's radar. Like it's really not a big deal at all. Like other than that, like what's happened this week? Uh, yeah, like Suicide Squad is being a disaster, but like what else is new? It's like what exactly am I supposed to talk about on days like this? It's kind of frustrating. Hmm. I don't know. Like I do think I need to start like relaxing on days like this and try to chill out or whatever. Switch 2 rumors? Yeah. Like I did notice that. Yeah. I think I've talked about this before, but um yeah, Switch 2 rumors were not well received this year. Like Review Tech USA and RGT85 did their typical like uh first day of the year like Switch 2 rumors video and like nobody really cared. Like nobody thought it was real. Nobody. And they keep trying to bring it back, but it's not getting any traction at all. Which I find to be really, really, really interesting. Like it feels like more and more people are like looking at these kind of stories with skepticism. And there are certainly like true believers out there, but leakers are like desperate for any kind of information. Like what my fake leak that I posted on 4chan like got a lot of traction. I know Studying Craig covered it. A lot of forums covered it, and like there was no real reason to believe it was real, right? Like it feels like they're desperate for some kind of like inside information to report on. Like the fact that they like did that, I think is really indicative of just how desperate they are. They don't have Emily Rogers anymore, who basically kept that entire community afloat. Like without her, like they have nothing. Yeah, like I can't talk about Switch 2 rumors because nobody's taking them seriously. I can't really talk about Power World because nobody's taking that seriously. I can't talk about Suicide Squad because I haven't played the game. Like for me, it's like I think the way forward is clear at this point. There is no future in the gaming community. Like it's just done. Like there is no recovery from this. Like PC gaming is dying. Xbox and PlayStation are already dead, long dead, and like Nintendo has essentially won the platform war. Like all we're seeing now is just people kind of like in denial about it. I think it says a lot that like the most popular PC game of the year is just like an obviously plagiarized Pokemon knockoff. I think that says a lot about like the current state of that community, how they're like overly reliant on fan made content, how they're very fixated on mods, how they're like completely fine with like pirating games and stuff like that. Like there's a lot to be said about the PC gaming community, I think. Based on their support of Power World. Like I don't like what I expect to see going forward is that companies are going to be forced to release all of their games on PC and Nintendo. But because Nintendo has like their own exclusive titles, like it's going to consistently do better on Nintendo. Right? Like I think PC is going to be like a platform primarily for enthusiasts who want to do certain things with the games. Right? And that's going to be like slowly stripped away over time. Like Capcom's already like putting measures into place to stop people from modding Street Fighter games because of like the Chun Li thing, which made them look bad, right? Like, I think what's going to happen is that like PC gaming is going to get more and more restricted, and it's going to lose a lot of its appeal. While Nintendo games keep evolving and doing new things, like Nintendo hardware is going to have the better software. It's going to have the better games, and like people can cry about emulation all they want to try and downplay that fact. It's not going to save them. It's not going to like make their platform more desirable over the more affordable, superior option. Like I imagine in the future, like most people will just own both. Like there's no reason not to own a PC and a Nintendo console. Like even I own a PC, right? Like I don't use it for games because the games are lesser, but like I have it there if I want to play something. If I want to play Tales of Arise or something, like yeah, I could do that on a PC. Yeah, we're seeing the gaming crash now. Like layoffs are occurring, these big AAA projects are failing. Like this is what I predicted 10 years ago. Before the launch of the PS4, is that like this ecosystem is not sustainable. Like the fanboys who eat up everything are not going to stick around forever, and they haven't. Like, has anyone seen that like Prince of Persia, like the new one, hasn't been doing all that well? Because like Ubisoft has like established such a poor reputation for itself that like a game like this can't possibly do well with their audience, right? Like EA, like something like 74% of their income is coming from like microtransactions or something. Like Konami is Konami. Like all of the classic studios are like dead or dying, and most people don't want to acknowledge it because it would kind of, if you actually looked into the situation and understood like the industry and the marketplace and like the ecosystem, like you would understand that like Nintendo is in the best position out of all of them. But that is something that the community just is not willing to admit. It's kind of disgusting, but like at this point, it's gonna literally take like Xbox and PlayStation dropping out of the console sphere for people to acknowledge that Nintendo is better than them. And with Sega, like, it took like what, 20 years for people to stop like pretending that the Saturn and that the Dreamcast were something special. Like, it took a long time for people to stop crying about Sega. How long is it gonna be until people stop crying about PlayStation? Right, to this day, I've seen people claim that like Resident Evil died in the 6th generation because of Nintendo. Right? Like, isn't that insane to think about? That Nintendo killed Resident Evil. That doesn't make any sense, but I mean, I've seen people claim it, right? Deus Ex got canceled. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. You just know Razor Fist is like seething right now. No. No, how dare this happen to my favorite cyberpunk? Like, yeah, Deus Ex, Embracer Group is a really good example of what's going to happen in the gaming crash. Because, like, everybody thought they were going to be some big powerhouse with, like, when they acquired all those IPs. You know, they own Saints Row and all this stuff. Like, everyone thought they would be, like, some big heavy hitter. But instead what happened is that, like, they couldn't put out anything of value, and they became a joke, like, overnight. Like, Saints Row might have killed their entire game plan. Like, I don't think they're going to remain relevant after that. And I think that was, like, a huge ESG-backed corporation. So, like, I think that's a really good example of just how, like, products like that are going to fare in, like, the marketplace going forward. Like, they can't just bring back some random IP from the 90s or whatever and expect it to do well. Like, I legit don't think that even, like, major mainstays like Deus Ex or Tomb Raider are going to do all that well today anymore. Because, like, they have real competition. And besides, like, they also have to compete with, like, the old games that were way better made. Like, that was an issue with the Saints Row. Like, it doesn't matter if your game is, like, open world and big budget if your previous games were open world and did it big, and were big budget and did it so much better, right? That was something that Saints Row struggled with. All right, people used to just see like open worlds and were just like, oh man, they used to just eat that stuff up, but now people are getting kind of tired of it, right? I don't think there's any way for them to go. Like, I don't see any recovery from them. THQ. Yeah, it's been propped up by everyone. It's been like a desperate attempt to keep the money train rolling, to turn players into payers, as the Bungie CEO said. But yeah, like companies have been going under or like stop producing games for a long time, but like everybody turns a blind eye to it because oh no, GTA 6 is coming, Call of Duty's coming, like Nintendo can't compete. Like, you know, Mortal Kombat might have a might not recover from Mortal Kombat 1, and you don't see a lot of people talk about that. All they'll do is like try to tell you that like, the Switch port was terrible, but that's not actually the primary problem. Right? They're ignoring the actual issues with these IPs to like make some bizarre anti-Nintendo statement. It's interesting to see. I mean, EA laid off a bunch of their Madden people, right? Like I saw some tweet today by someone who was like got laid off and then went to go work at a deli. And then the coworker told him, "Man, I wish I had a job where I could just copy paste all day." I'm just like, wow. imagine, like, nobody respects you if you worked on Madden. Like, nobody. Like, the audience doesn't respect you. Casuals don't respect you. Like, the publisher doesn't respect you. Like, imagine being that guy. Like, nobody likes you. And I imagine that that's going to be, like, a thing going forward, is that, like, game developers are going to discriminate against people who work on sports games and, like, shovelware like that. Like, you're not going to get a better job if your background is working on Madden. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I imagine the vast majority of these people are just completely worthless. Yeah, the layoffs have started. That's been like the big news thing today. I don't know. Like the problem, like I have with what's going on now is that like I was so far ahead of everyone else when talking about what the gaming crash would look like that like I don't even like really care now that it's happening. It's like, yeah, I got my Nintendo game. Like I'd rather focus on like political topics. I want to focus on real issues. I want to like focus on growing my business. You know, I want to make American Evil the best book it can possibly be. Which, by the way, it totally is shaping up to be. By the way, I was thinking of like releasing uh, a character bio of the Windsor Witches. I was thinking that like I might just release some information about like some of the characters associated with the Windsor, who are of course like allies of the protagonist. Like I've talked about Poppy a little bit and Ellen Wee, but there are quite a few others. I was thinking it might be fun to do. I don't know. Like I'm really enjoying American Evil. Every time I work on it, it's shocking how much work I get done on it every day. Every time I sit down to work on it, I should say. Yeah, GTA 6. Yeah, GTA 6 is going to be interesting because, like, how bad, how much is the strongest brand name in gaming going to carry, like, a mediocre product? Like, it's going to be really interesting to see this because GTA 6, like, is almost certainly going to be worse than 5 and 4, right? It's going to be, like, another step down for Rockstar. There's going to be all these problems and then all these red flags, all these, like, you know, woke culture. The game's just not going to be as good. Like, I'm curious if it's going to be possible that the game is so bad that the core audience turns against it. Like, I wonder what that would look like. Like, if that's even possible. Like, I think it might be interesting if, like, they go in this direction. Well, okay, this isn't going to happen in GTA 6, but, like, what if they try, like, moralizing the audience? Like, every time you kill a cop and, like, get a wanted rating, like, the game, like, guilt trips you for it. Or, like, does that, like, does this thing where, like, the story is really at odds with, like, what people typically do in GTA, which is commit crimes. Like, I'm curious, like, if there's going to be any backlash to this game at all. Because I think the narrative right now is that this is going to be the biggest game release ever. And I don't disagree with that because it's GTA. But at the same time, it's not going to carry the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC for the next 10 years. Like, the GTA brand is really strong, and I don't think it's ever going to go away, really. But, like, the games themselves have been getting worse and worse. And I just don't see people... I think eventually there will be a superior alternative, is the thing. Like, Grand Theft Auto, it's generic. It's uninspired. Like, all someone would have to do was just put together a better crime simulation game, and they win. And that hasn't happened yet, but I certainly think it's viable. I, like, it would take, like, 10, 20, 30 years for, like, Grand Theft Auto to be seen as being, like, a product of its time, but I think it's getting there. Like, I think Red Dead 2 is a really good example of what we can expect to see from Grand Theft Auto 6, where, like, the game is, like, extremely woke. It's, like, boring as sin. It's structured. It's linear. But, like, you know, gamers pretend it's, like, the greatest thing ever just because it was made by Rockstar. And that's going to keep continuing until people start getting bored of it, right? Until people start addressing, like, wait a minute, these games are getting worse, right? Like, it's inevitable, but, like, the question is, like, when and how it's going to happen. Like, the way things are looking now, like, I expect Grand Theft Auto will be, like, the absolute major, the last major tentpole IP of, like, the PlayStation brand. Like, I don't think anything is in a better position than it to stay relevant. So, like, with that in mind, like, how, I don't know. Like, I think the one time Nintendo's going to struggle in this current generation is immediately after that game comes out. Like, I expect that's going to be when a lot of anti-Nintendo propaganda surfaces. I expect that's going to be, like, when people go full tilt on the anti-Switch thing. Like, I think that is going to be a very, very, very big deal. Especially if, like, the next Nintendo console doesn't have Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, that's going to be a big thing that consumers hold against the company. And I don't know. Like, I don't think Nintendo needs Grand Theft Auto, but at the same time, there's no denying that, like, that is going to be the thing that everybody leans into. Like, when talking about Nintendo, like, oh, it doesn't have Grand Theft Auto, so it's not a good console, right? You know, I had to deal with that growing up, so. Online live service. Yeah, I think that would kill it, for sure. Like, plenty of people don't care for the online stuff. Like, there are definitely whales and stuff like that, but, like, I think they're, like, a minority of players. Like, I don't think most people, like, do what Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, wasn't, like, Grand Theft Auto 5's online play an afterthought? They just, like, threw it in there later? Like, that's weird to think about, but considering how successful it was. But new post from Jake. Uh, could you link it in the Discord? Oh, you're not on the Discord anymore, are you? I guess I could look it up. I mean, do we need to be told why, like, someone quit Game Explain? We know. Like, Andre Seegers is a piece of shit. Like, I don't need to be told that. I know. Like, I kind of always thought that. It's crazy that it's been, like, 10 years since I watched the bastard, and he's still making videos. Like, same with all these guys. Like Mr. T, like, Playerist, all of them. The Bit Block. Well, the Bit Block isn't really relevant anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think, like, all those guys I hated 10 years ago are still, like, there, like, making videos that nobody watches. Now, what they would do was just tell you that, like, PlayStation had better graphics, and, like, say it had, like, Grand Theft Auto or whatever. That's basically what it boiled down to. And, like, these people don't play games; they don't know anything about games, but they like, oh, PlayStation is better because the gaming magazine told me. But yeah, it's a load of crap for sure. I don't know. Like, I'm most, like, actually, like, back then, it was mostly like Xbox. That was like the Xbox. That was like right when the Xbox 360 was coming out. So it was actually more like Xbox people. If like the PlayStation fans were like big on the PSP, like the narrative at my school was that like the PSP was way better than the DS, which is like of course a lot of crap. Like nobody remembers the PSP, but like yeah, there were like it was like people were like adamant that the PSP was better because like oh look it looks just as good as the PS2, but yeah. Like I was playing my Game Boy Advance until like well into Well, actually, I just plugged it in and charged it a couple of days ago, so I guess I still use it. But yeah, yeah, I really did not like how people tried to say the PSP was better because it had more realistic graphics. That to me just made no sense at all. Um, oh wait, where is it? Oh, on Twitter. Okay, probably. Yeah. I found the work incredibly unfulfilling, and as time went on, my technical abilities and efficiency. How does I don't understand how Game Explain operates. Like, why do they have employees? Why do they all have these horror stories of working there? Like, what what do they even do? Like, after Nintendo revoked the channel's PR access, wait a minute, when did that happen? Like, I was not aware of this. When did that happen? I mean, I get that like Nintendo, like Game Explain is shit, but and that like they never should have had it anyway. But that's funny to me. Yeah, that's typical for former Game Explain employees. They all say this that like working for them is crap, and but yeah, like they used to be pretty tight with Nintendo. Their office is like pretty close to where Nintendo of America is, right? That's weird to me that they revoked their access. What does that mean exactly? Can they not get into events or what? I guess I could look at that up. Let's see.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
This is going to be an interesting one. See, we're talking about Game Explain. Now, I generally don't talk about other YouTubers unless something bad happens. Every now and then, I'll shout out YouTubers in a video, you know, whether it's Supermodel Dave for being a source on something.
Source of,
or you know, Player Essence or Spawn Wave or whatever. Like,
I hate all of those guys. What the fuck?
When they are my inspiration for something. But this time around, we have a controversy. And I kind of knew this controversy was brewing. It was just a matter of time before things became public. So you guys probably know what the largest fan-made Nintendo, kind of core Nintendo, they do cover other things, just like my channel covers other things, but core Nintendo YouTube channel is, right? It's Game Explain. I mean, beat them up somebody pass them someday, but it's Game Explain, right? Game Explain has been around for a long time. They have excellent content in general, great discussions, great live streams, usually halfway decent reviews.
Yeah, who, does anyone take Game Explain seriously? I don't. Like, I've always had issues with them. Like, I actually agree with Josh Thomas the BitBlock on their thing of re-uploading Nintendo trailers on their channel. Like, to me, that is like the cheapest, laziest way to get views. Like, I did that with No More Heroes 3, but like that was something I was really enthusiastic about. And yeah, it meant a lot to me. So yeah, I was very proud to do that. But like generally I wouldn't do it. And like Game Explain does that stuff all the time. And it just leads to really weird situations where, like,
And one of my
yeah, Kotaku got it restricted, but I don't know about Game Explain.
favorite things is maybe like the trailer analysis videos they do. I find these to be very, very entertaining, very informative, especially when it comes to the Zelda series. But at the end of last year, or towards the end of last year, pretty much everyone that matters at Game Explain left. And they all left right around the same time.
Yeah. So a lot of the OGs at Game Explain left around the same time, right? Like, I remember this happening, but I don't like. I thought Game Explain was like canceled or something. I thought they like did an expose and they were starting their own channel or something. Like, I'm surprised that Game Explain kept going after that. Like, I don't know. Did Andre find more people to exploit? I just don't.
Three of them went on to form a new YouTube channel called Good Vibes Gaming. I'll put a link down in the description of their channel.
Good Vibes.
They do a lot of
Okay, yeah, I think I saw
discussion
that.
occasional reviews. A lot of discussion videos, like hour-long podcast videos, I should say. And then they obviously have the game reviews here and there. And then there is John Cartwright. He was another major member. He left to go join over at Nintendo Life. Where, he works at 9 to 5 over there, making a pretty decent wage according to himself. Now, this is all fine and dandy. Employee turnover happens. Who really cares what happens at Game Explain? Well, I do. Because I'm sure, like many of you, you've heard of Game Explain, you've watched their content, you've enjoyed these content creators.
Not for like a
decade. Other
like,
newer content creators that I am friends with that now work at Game Explain, and this is no offense to them, but the quality of Game Explain's content is just not the same, which isn't a surprise because they had some very passionate workers there. But now we have found out from these former employees, work conditions were not great. Work conditions were horrendous, and for many of these people, this wasn't even their full-time job. They had to do this in addition to their full-time job. And I know what you're going to say. Nobody has to do YouTube. You are 100% correct. Nobody has to be here on YouTube. In fact, in this video, I'm going to explain everything that goes into different types of videos because I've done game reviews. I've done guides. I used to work and make walkthroughs for crying out loud. I've done video walkthroughs. I have done news videos and podcast videos. And I'm going to explain all the work that goes into this stuff and just how little money is made from it, which is why I always tell people don't ever look at YouTube as a career. If you get lucky, great, but do it for fun. But when you're a channel as big as Game Explain, you do tend to make enough money for it to be a career for at least someone. So let's get into what the accusations are. This is the three members of Good Vibes Gaming who brought this up on the very first today's News Tonight podcast thing they do.
Yeah, I think I gotta end the live stream now. Yep. Tomorrow I'm gonna try to come back. I'm gonna try to cover some more topics. We'll try to talk about some things. Yeah, we're gonna have to think about what we do. I mean, this wasn't a bad live stream or anything. I had fun, but which I suppose is all that matters. But like, yeah, there's definitely this issue of like, if I'm on a live stream every day, I'm gonna have to find something to talk about. Like, there have been a couple of times like this where I've been really struggling to find something. But anyway, until next time, everyone.